this business is more about people and not about the knowing. You can figure that part out. It's about people. It's about the building the relationship.
So, hey, everybody, welcome to the Women Embed podcast. Today, I am extremely excited, like I always am, okay, when I meet these incredible individuals in the industry of fun and the business of fun, who, let's say, I've kind of known, but then kind of not known. And then I really get to know them. And I'm just like, you have to come on the podcast because I want other people to know you too and know about your secret sauce and your story and all the things. And today, that person is Kimberly Schilling. She is the owner of Creative Works. And we're going to go by Kim today. She's allowed me to do that. And we're fresh off the heels of Amusement 360, in which I had an opportunity to sit down with her, spend some time, and or as they would say in Texas, have a visit. We had a visit. We had a time to visit. There we go.
We did.
Right? And in California, we would say, we bonded. So anyway, I have in front of me from the Action Lab Leadership Group, the Take Action. I love this token, by the way, it's on my desk. And then the Lead with Joy. And I'm telling you, Kim, you and your team and everything that you do at Creative Works and Action Lab and Amusement 360 is just so cool. And my dear, you're right. You're always kind of in a backdrop, and like your teams are front and center, whether it's dancing or leading the mastermind group or et cetera, et cetera. And so I just wanted to take today to say, welcome to the Women Embed podcast, and tell us about your story.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity, Sarah. I know you and I we've seen each other here and there, but we never got to have our sit down and a chat until last week. And it was lovely to hear a little bit of your story, share some of mine. So I started in this business, in over 20 years ago. I was starting to date, and it was back when online dating was like kind of novel. And I met this guy on eHarmony who was in the laser tag industry. And I thought, is this legit? Should I be scared? And anyway, long story short, I ended up meeting the founder of Creative Works, Jeff Schilling. And, fast forward, fell in love. I moved to Indiana, and we got married, and then I started to go on the trade show kind of circuit with him. He was still growing his business. It was still fairly small. We had a pretty small team. And so I started to build relationships even back then. And I feel like that was my strong suit. And I know I might be moving ahead here, but I feel like that's been my secret sauce in the industry, is just the relationship piece and getting to know people, and not just their business, but who they are as people. And so anyway, ended up jumping in full stream about a year after we got married to work together, which was a challenge, but also fun too. So we got to build the business together. So, unfortunately in 2020, he passed away from colon cancer. And so now I get to live his legacy with my team, we've added other owners. So Armando Lanuti, he's another owner of Creative Works. And so the two of us get to continue with that legacy and watch it grow. And it's so much fun, and also just kind of humbling to see the many changes that have gone. I mean, and this is just our little ecosphere. I'm not even talking about the breadth of the entertainment industry and how much it's grown too. But it's been great to get to see that, and very humbling, and I'm very grateful for it, for sure.
Oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. Kim, It is really cool. Just the 20 years that you had of experience in this industry, and then growing with the industry, and and the importance of relationships. I agree with you there 100% as well. I think that it's it's life can be really tricky, right? Meaning that you're doing life with people and you're doing life with the industry. And I'm sure the 2020, with the passing of your groom, must have been quite a transition.
I I have done a lot of work. I know you and I have that in common for sure, in kind of doing the deep work in ourselves. And I've invested. We invested in that as a couple when Jeff was alive, right before he basically the last probably 2 years of his life we did. But then I have continued that, and that's been such a help for me. And obviously, time is a bit of a healing balm too, because I would not have been able to have this podcast with you, you know, 3 or 4 years
Right,
ago
obviously.
without, just I would have been able to speak with you, but I would have had to take lots of breaks and and lots of tissues and all the things. So I
Yeah.
thought time is a balm, and it's a heal. It can help in that healing process. But I have grown so much, and almost the fact where like, wow, I kind of don't recognize who I was. I do, but I've seen the growth, and I've
Yes.
changed a lot in working towards, healing, but also now I get to do this with others alongside of me, but with on my own, so to speak. It's kind of it's a bit of a forced growth, but it was definitely growth.
Yeah, and isn't it fascinating? I think you and I had a discussion about this, right? Yes, time heals all. Let's be honest, right? I mean, yes, I know. And the grieving process is this ebb and flow and this windy road, and there's the messy middle and whatnot. You and I talked about the Bruce Feiler book, that life is in the transitions, and how it's during these moments, these inflection points in life, and during these massive transitions in life, that one does the most growth, right?
Oh,
And
absolutely.
right, and while painful and difficult, it's incredible, like what happens when you come out of it. And so so Kim, I thank you for sharing that with us. And I also, I want to thank you because when we sat down to have lunch during Amusement 360 and you shared that story with me, it was just so powerful. The gift of your example and the fact that you're able to say, hey, listen, I'm doing life with individuals and with people and with the industry and with the team and whatnot. And all of us are on our own journey, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that that's one of the backbones of the Action Lab Leadership Group, is the understanding that life is a journey. You'll never be in a know-it-all situation. It's all about the learn-it-all and the continuous growth, and how every single individual, it's about progress, not perfection.
Mm.
And anyway, I love everything that you and your company are doing. Obviously, I'm more familiar with the Action Lab Leadership Group because I'm also part of the mastermind group, and I
Oh,
love
great.
that.
Yes,
Oh,
yes. I'm also in a mastermind group, a separate one, but I do feel like that investment in just taking the time each week to figure out, hey, what was my high this week? What was my low this week? What did I learn? Having a group that you can share some of your wins with, but also your struggles, and kind of being coached through that. I know that in our industry, we in the past we've had a deficit in that, and we kind of saw that need, and so with the leadership of Danny Gruning, and then Armando and I kind of just saying, yes, please, let's get this started, type of a deal. That's been a huge help, and we actually even use it for our own team, where we've have some people that are in groups with him or his wife Michelle, who also lead a leadership group. So I definitely think that the that's been a huge help for me as I've grown, not just in my grief journey, but also professionally, where you can get some different viewpoints and ideas. I think collaboration is is so important. And I've loved that you have this podcast, Sarah, because I feel like it's good for women to hear from other women about just what are you doing, and it doesn't have to be, a 5-step program, or I feel like just the power of sharing story with each other is so important, where you share your story, I share my story, we connect on a different level. And I feel like we as women, I think, bond quicker because of that, and we're willing to do that. And as long as I feel like there's a professionalism that we need to maintain to a certain point. It's not going to be just like gab time, girlfriend time, but I think that genuine sharing, and it can even be in business, and like, oh gosh, this is what I'm doing that's helping, or whatever. And I just feel like that's I've seen a lot of change and growth in that.
Absolutely, Kim. And like, just to add on to that, it is ultimately about the gift of an individual's example, right? That is being shared with others. And you never know who's going to be listening and who's going to just take a little nugget, right? And use it in their own journey, right? And whatever challenges
Absolutely.
they might be navigating. And so I always, when I invite people, I always tell them, listen, it's the gift of your example and sharing your story that will inspire others in their story. And again, you never know who's listening. And I think it is incredibly powerful when women get together and share their stories, especially in industries that are male dominated. And during Amusement Expo, I sat on a panel, a women's panel. It was the Rise and Shine breakfast. And I was talking about, representation, and the fact that women outnumber men in the American workforce today. And the largest population of individuals that are joining the American workforce happen to be brown and Black women. Representation at the top is extremely important as we look at that changing landscape of the American workforce. And this is why when you shared with me that you're a co-owner of Creative Works, I was like, Kim, we need more Kims. Come on the podcast and share your story, because you are kind of that dark horse in the back, right? That's letting everyone else just kind of, present and whatnot and do their things at Amusement 360. And of course, you greet everybody and you welcome everybody, Kim. I know this. And then we talk about belts and belt buckles and whatnot, and
Absolutely.
things that are,
We got to talk about
fun.
shoes at some point, right? You got to do it. That's the fun part of life. But no, I think that there's just I think, as I know, I have had to work through limiting beliefs in myself of thinking, well, I don't have a business degree. I did not get my MBA. I have a degree in elementary education. And you can kind of be like, well, what in the world am I doing here? I don't belong here. But it's more of just, the experiences that I have grown me, and just the people that I'm surrounded with help grow me. And I've worn a lot of hats at the company. So I kind of, you learn as you go there, and as well as just getting to understand and learn the industry. And always, I'm an avid reader of those silly IAPA daily publications and press releases and the monthly magazines, because I kind of want to just keep my finger on, hey, what's going on and who's going where. And I just think that just over time, I've been able to grow that knowledge and skill set in this industry, while because I've worn different hats, and because I took a little bit of a break from the industry and helping Jeff in his cancer journey. I think that now I'm at a spot where I'm like, okay, yeah, I do belong at this table, where in the past I haven't always had the confidence in thinking that I did. So it's just, time, work, experience, all of those things.
Kim, that is so true. And the research shows it, right? That women actually tend to feel that without the degree or without the experience, literally, they're like, if I don't meet 100% of what I think the criteria is to be in a specific role, they won't endeavor to do that role. Whereas, and again, it's all based on the research, whereas men are like, oh, 1 out of the 10 criteria I meet, you know what, I'll figure out the rest of them as I go. And it's at the end of the day, it's all about how we were socialized, right?
Yeah.
And so, my dear, you're 100% correct. Experience, never underestimate the value of experience. Never underestimate the value of, hey, if I'm doing this now, right, if I'm sweeping floors now, I'm going to do the best job I can. And how do I layer value? Because all of that's going to get me to the next phase until I'm in a position like yourself, Kim, where you can see the matrix, right? Where you're like, okay, I have enough experience that I can see now how all the pieces connect together. And what's lovely about this is that 20 years in, you're like, hey, I know that I have to, that the industry is changing a great deal. And so I stay abreast of what's happening and who's doing what. And so I love that formula of, hey,
Yeah.
do the best that you can when you're doing whatever it is that you're doing, until you get until life kind of takes you into that next chapter and that next, whatever, that next season. Okay. And so I think that's just,
I think another
cool
piece, a component of my kind of success in leadership. So right now I'm wearing a different hat at Creative Works. I'm helping to manage our human resources department. We have about 75 team members. And there's a great book by, I believe it's Simon Sinek wrote it. It's called Leaders Eat Last. And it's just about kind of that servant leadership. And one of my jobs is to fill the vending machines with snacks, and I vacuum the floor in the front offices, and I will clean windows. I do those things. I've had a couple different, and I don't do it to be noticed. I just do it because I want to serve, and I'm no better than anyone else. Just because I happen to have a large financial stake in the company makes me no different than any of my team members. So I feel like I've had several employees that have stopped me and been like, oh, well, thanks for doing that. And I'm, they're almost like surprised by that, or they don't want me to. And I'm just like, I feel like that kind of leadership, and Armando is very similar in that, where it's just, you know what, we're a team, and I don't want to be the first in line for the things. I want, them to excel, to grow. It's all about, that company growth. And then I feel like it just builds an amazing culture for people, because they know it's not based on ego, but on caring for other people.
It's not based on ego or hierarchy, right?
No,
it's based
yes,
on actually
very good.
caring.
Well said. Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
It's based on caring, and also hand in hand with that is going to be the fact that the culture and the spirit of a company is set from the leader down. And the fact that you're doing these things, I would not be surprised then if you walk in one day and you'll see an employee just cleaning something up, because, hey, that's part of the culture, right? And if Kim can do it, I can do it too. Right.
Yeah,
I think
haven't
that's cool.
Quite seen that translated yet, but we're getting there. Maybe more on the cleaning front is not always our favorite thing, but you're right. I think that we all have a can-do attitude. So when there are projects where it's just like, for instance, Amusement 360, it's a lot of times it's all hands on deck, and you do what you need to do to make it happen. And I definitely feel like I don't really have any team members who would be like, oh no, I'm above that. They're not, they'll do it. And it's just, it's great to get to build that. And it's about caring and growing those people, because that's what ultimately matters. Just like it ultimately matters, we're creating memories for people across the world. Right. And it's through a card system or through an attraction that we build. That is our ultimate deal. Our goal is to create memories throughout the world. And I feel like when you have that vision, or you have that in mind, it kind of helps with the minutia and the hiccups that you have when you go through business and dealing with life.
Yeah, absolutely, Kim. And in fact, I love that. Like, there's so much there to unpack. But at the end of the day, it's just, look, you show up as your best self, right? And when you do, it'll inspire others to do the same. And when you're layering value and just saying, this is all hands on deck, Okay. And it's not about hierarchy, right? Everybody, all hands on deck means all hands on deck. When I think it was before Amusement 360 started, you walked over to me and you said, Sarah, here's your badge. Right. And I thought, wow, the owner of the company is handing me my badge. Like, how cool is this? I want to know who she is and what she's about. Really, I was so inspired because I thought, oh wow, this is just I'm so touched. And I think it goes from like handing somebody their badge to, like you said, the cleaning part, which doesn't always translate. But in the booth, if I have the vacuum cleaner to clean up, our booth at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day, I know that it inspires other people to tidy up as well. And so I think that's just, I love that you've put in there your secret sauce. Okay. And the secret sauce is, hey,
there's a lot of different, there are different secret sauces, relationship, but also just leading by example there. And then I think with that too, I know you would ask me about favorite quote. And one of the, and I'll just do a quick little like an homage or legacy piece for Jeff, but he was able to give an industry talk at a fairly, we didn't have a lot of these industry events. It was called F2 FEC, and he spoke at that before he passed away, and he ended his quote or his talk. He spoke about 20 minutes, and he said, with gratitude, much can be done, much can be gained, and much can be shared. And I feel like in life, there's just that lens of gratitude where it's not, hey, what am I not getting? Why is it, that's not fair? It's kind of always having that lens of gratitude. I'm not saying that you have to, always, be smiling and rainbows and butterflies. We all have struggles, and we can be upset and be motivated because we're maybe missed the mark, and we can be corrected in that way. But I do think ultimately that gratitude piece is very important
absolutely.
in life, but also in business too, because you've got that lens of just seeing, okay, what can I be grateful for? This went awry with the client or this, but one, make it right. And two, what are some good things and what can we be grateful for in this situation?
I think there's a quote. I love it. By the way, we are of the same ilk. I'm with you 100% because it made me think of two things. Number one is that a favorite quote of mine that basically says, gratitude makes what you have enough, right?
Oh, yes.
Makes anything enough, right? In any given moment. And the second one that I thought of was the fact that, you can be happy where you are as you're working towards where you want to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
so, and gratitude. Right. And gratitude enables you to do that. That's really, really beautiful. What a beautiful homage.
Yeah, we actually have that gratitude quote on a wall of ours at Creative Work. So as you're in the shop and you're kind of are in the office area and getting ready to walk into the shop, our team was able to create a really great little graphic, and with his quote there with gratitude, that gratitude piece. And it's really a great reminder of what's important, right?
Absolutely. You know what? Absolutely.
And
exactly.
I think that fulfillment and satisfaction, which so many humans right now are lacking in, because we kind of live in this digital world of on our phones and comparison, and we're not really we don't feel like we have purpose. And that fulfillment piece, I feel like gratitude is a component for feeling, that fulfillment where you're like, okay, this feels good. Not that we do things that feel good, but just you do want to know that you're helping others, that you're making a difference, that I'm doing something that has purpose, and I'm not just in a hamster wheel day in and day out. And I think that gratitude's a big piece of that.
Absolutely. Of living with meaning and purpose and not falling victim to comparison, which is the ultimate thief of joy, right? Because
absolutely.
Nothing will ever be enough, right?
Right.
I'm with you 100% on that. So what's your life mantra with that?
Oh gosh, I saw that. I don't know if I really have one. I mean, I know that one of the pieces that kind of points to, that poker chip that you showed is just, you know, of just taking the next step. I feel like that would probably be just take the next step. I, this is going to sound like a huge brag, but it's not.
Oh, no. No, please brag. I want to give you license to brag.
I set a goal for myself a few years ago. So in 2024, I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, and so at the very last day, or one of the last days when you're summiting, it was just incredibly difficult. And I got inspiration from my friend Michelle Gruning, because I climbed with Danny and Michelle, and it was just next step. I've trained, I've done this, just take the next step, take the next step, take the next step. And I think that not obviously it was very important for that, because I needed to get up to the top and summit and then get down. But in life, that's what it's all about. And it, again, like I even started to come full circle. It's imperfect sometimes when you take that next step. You don't feel ready when you take that next step. But I do think that in life, if you're not growing, you are dying. And you've just got to take those next imperfect and ugly steps sometimes. And if you're going to take a misstep, but that's okay. At least you learn from it, move, and then grow from it and go to the next one. So I think that would probably be the best. I just kind of pulled that one out of my hat with a mantra.
I think it's perfect. Okay. Focusing on the next step. It's about progress, not perfection. So Absolutely. Even if the next step is a little funny, you take the next step and you just keep on going, because the momentum is key. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think I was on Danny's podcast, and I mentioned to him, if you're not dead, you're not done yet. So progress is important. Thank you. Elizabeth Gilbert. All my quotes just come from other incredible people, and I love Simon Sinek as well. Mm-hmm. I'm a big fan of his. What advice would you give to, let's say, the younger version of you 20 years ago when you entered the industry, or even some of the younger generation or even the new people who are entering the industry? What's some of the advice that you would give?
I think I love the direction you went into my younger self. I definitely feel like spend the time to get to know yourself, get to know your strengths, get to know your weaknesses, but more important, get to know your strengths and really hone in on that, because I do feel like we've all been given different gifts, and it's easy as a young person to see someone that you're maybe even as your leader who has amazing gifts. So then you want to be a parrot and just do exactly their same gift. And that's not necessarily what yours are. And so I think that understanding yourself and examining that, and then using that to then catapult you into success where you're aware of it, and then use those abilities, have that awareness and use that ability to help you grow, and know that this business is more about people and not about the knowing. You can figure that part out. That's fairly simple. It's about people. It's about building the relationship.
That's right.
And it's about not feeling less than or more than. I don't care if you've been a CEO for 50 years. I will respect that, but that doesn't make you any better than me. And I can have confidence that, I have this experience and this is what I come to the table with. And so having that as your fuel to be confident in a kind way. You don't have to lead with that, because sometimes that will definitely, if the ego gets too involved, then that does not usually play out well, especially as a younger person that's trying to, build their career. So I do think that it's more of getting to know who you are, and then being genuine too. I feel like I've always kind of discounted that in my life, and it's a little bit more of who I just genuinely am, a genuine person. So and I didn't think
so
it was
true.
that special, but then I keep hearing it over and over and over again. And I'm like, well, that I yeah, that's just who that I don't know any different. I can't put on airs or this just I'm gonna just be genuine and care for people. And I think that I would just let people know that's so valuable, more so
Absolutely.
than a lot of other pieces. So
Authenticity. Okay, authenticity is so, so valuable, right? When you are in the
absolutely.
presence of authenticity and someone who shows up authentically as themselves. And I love something that you mentioned as well about the importance, and that is the importance and the role that it plays in life of getting to know yourself, right? Know your strengths and your weaknesses. And, isn't the whole point of life to just turn down the volume, soften those weaknesses, right? Those sharp ends, and then just play up to your strengths, whatever they might be. And that whole journey of discovering what those are and doing it so authentically, because I am with you 100%, Kim. I do believe also that everybody comes into this world with a gift, and the whole point of life is to figure out what that gift is. And authenticity, equanimity, right? And getting, like, literally going through life just being, trying to get to that equanimity, right? That equanimity, which is basically, it's just as authentic as you can possibly be. It doesn't suffer, superiority complexes or inferiority complexes. It puts the ego at the service of self, and just being, equanimity. Equanimity. When I think of equanimity, I think of the sun. Like, the sun has never come down and been like, see that sunset? I made that happen. You're welcome. No, right? The sun
Yeah.
just sets, right? And it rises, right? That's equanimity. And my dear, I just can't thank you enough, Kim, for having a chat with
Oh,
me and what has been a jolt of inspiration, getting to know you better and talking about your secret sauce, because to me, that is secret sauce, is the fact that you're able to show up so authentically and embrace people and care about them and bring out the best in them. And your entire livelihood is that. Think about it. You're the owner of a company, okay, whose entire mission is, we want to bring out, here we go, Action Lab. We want to bring out the best in people, right? And when you lead with joy, you're always going to bring out the best in people. So that's that arm. And then the other arm is hey, we're in the business of fun. So we need to create these experiences and help FBCs do that, and then train them through Amusement 360. I mean, it's just, all of it is incredible. And I thank you, because this is the gift of your example. I thank you, Kim. I thank you.
thank you. Thank you, Sarah. That was very kind, and I really appreciate that. And I've enjoyed getting to know you, and I feel like I learn a few new words every time I speak with you, in a good way. Equanimity. I did not know that word. And so now I feel like I can add that to my vocabulary list.
You are so
I
funny.
like to be around people like yourself that inspire and have, you've had some really cool life experiences, and like I want to hear about that and learn about that, because I feel like it just helps me become a better person too. So
Right? And just grow. And like, I think all of us, it's fascinating if you just look at, like, just some of the incredible women in our industry and the
mhm.
journeys they've had in life, and then learning from them and being inspired from them with their own journeys. You
Yes.
never know who's listening or who's going to, grow from the gift of your
Oh,
example. So
absolutely.
again, my dear, I thank you.
Oh, you are welcome. You are so welcome.